Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Thank God the Holidays Are Almost Over episode of The Gold Standard with Alan Mosley. And here's your host, Alan Mosley.
That's not the kind of cheer that we wanted to start the episode with, Blake. But that's okay.
But don't the holidays wear you out? Don't they wear you out sometimes?
This is. We were talking about this right before the show. This is a weird holiday. It doesn't feel like Christmas at all.
Really?
It doesn't even feel like Thanksgiving. That was like 3 weeks ago.
Oh yeah, that went by pretty fast.
No, it doesn't. Like it feels like the cold weather just. I mean, we're in Middle Tennessee.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's been dreary for a while.
Oh
but
God, yeah.
It kind of feels like we just started that.
Yeah.
So that means we should be like maybe 30 days out from the holidays.
Yeah, it does.
But they're almost over.
Yeah, and it's like when you raise livestock like I do, you know, every single day has been a mud fest. I mean, we've got mud everywhere. I have mud in places I didn't know I had places. It's scary.
That's becoming like a thing for you.
Yes.
Is, you know,
Tennessee mud. Cold, icy mud.
As a farmer like myself, raising livestock as I do, that's your thing now.
Well, I mean, you got to have your shtick, right? Right. Oh, well, hold on. There's one problem. I just realized something very important.
I was going to do that. Yeah.
I don't know. Here's a
hit the thing.
See?
Okay. Now
the last
Christmas has
vestige
begun.
Of festivity.
You know, the people
for 2018.
The people who subscribe to this show on, which by the way, Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn, your favorite podcasting platform of choice. The people who listen to this show and don't watch us on YouTube wonder sometimes probably, like, what do they do? What was that noise I heard just now? What are they talking about? Well, you'll just have to go to YouTube.
You got to watch it.
YouTube. You can search The Gold Standard with Alan Mosley, and you'll see what we're talking about.
There you go.
Guys, what episode number is this? 44?
44, 45.
No, it's 45.
It's 45.
It's 45.
Right.
We're about
Clay Davis was last week, right? Clay Davis.
Clay Davis.
Yeah, Clay Davis was last
He'll
week.
probably appreciate if we call him his real name.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm blonde. I'm sorry. It's another excuse. I know.
It's
been a long holiday season.
We have a running joke on Sports Ball with Mike and Alan that Clay is our fan, singular.
The only fan you have?
The one person who actually listens to the show and comments
that's more than
is
this
Clay.
one, so I guess
and he's been on our show. So, like, the next thing for Clay is to move right on up to co-host or whatever.
True.
So it's episode 45.
Yes,
Remember,
sir.
guys, you can catch us on social media, which is facebook.com/TGS Alan Mosley. Twitter is at Alan M. Mosley. But you don't have to do any of that because you can just go to our website, which is thegoldstandardpodcast.com.
That's right.
Thegoldstandardpodcast.com now has the little embedded YouTube player in case you've missed an episode. You've got all of the articles that I've had published over the last however long now.
A few months, actually 6 months, man.
I had written many times, but I had never actually took a thing I wrote and sent it to a journal or whatever and said, would you publish this because I'm not an idiot? I've never done that before until a couple months ago, and it's gone really well.
See?
It's
all about how you sell yourself.
I've written all of 5 articles, and all 5 of them have been published.
Good job.
Yeah.
That's a good track record, by the way.
Yeah, 5 of 5.
Yeah, man. 5 out of 5.
The day will eventually come that I will write an article.
We want nothing to do with you.
And everybody will reject it, and then I'll actually have it blown up on a foam board, right? Like it'll be a 24 by 36 right here, and I'll be bitching about how they don't know how important this is. And it'll
in case you're wondering why there's always a space between us, like right back there, we have plans for that space.
Tears will just be streaming down my face. You don't know me.
Right on, man. Right on.
So there's podcast platforms, social media, website. We have some really big things coming up the first of next year.
Do we?
But we're not going to spoil the surprise yet.
Don't spoil the surprise.
But for people who subscribe to us on Facebook, they have already noticed that we started an event page for a show that's going to be taped in front of a live studio audience here at Osborne Studio and Sound in beautiful Columbia, Tennessee. Yeah, we're gonna. It's gonna be spicy. We're gonna have some live guests coming in, live studio audience. I mean, almost like a real show.
Yeah, spicy, dicey.
I feel bad for whatever poor son of a bitch has to like edit it. And put it up. Like whoever has to do that it's just going to be awful.
Poor guy.
Because everybody's going to hear, they're going to be laughing and having a good time. Like, oh, this is just so easy. And then there'll be some dude wearing a striped pullover who's going to have to go into his office over there for like 20 hours and edit out.
Oh, it ain't going to be 20 hours.
Every single time that Alan said something like the F word. And
no, that's all in there. Okay. I'm not censoring you, man. You go.
So as you probably have noticed, we had originally planned to not really have a super serious episode. This is going to be our holiday episode.
Okay, yes.
It'll probably debut somewhere in the area in between Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah. So now that you're all done having eaten another turkey because you didn't really get your last turkey from the over with the Thanksgiving that went so fast, now you've got something to do. See, now you can play with your toy trains and listen to our show.
Your toy train? What year is this?
A toy train.
What year is this?
Dude, I got my son.
Oh, yeah.
I got my soon-to-be 2-year-old a Duplo train.
He's almost 2?
He's almost 2. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He was born literally yesterday.
Absolutely.
How is that possible?
Because time goes by so freaking fast, you ain't got a chance to blow your nose.
Because that's so weird. Like, this show is not 2 years old. Yep. And I remember us being in this studio talking about doing a show and you were having a baby.
Yep.
Good Lord.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I'm practically dead.
No,
like, life is over.
That's what I say. Sun up, sundown, sun up, sundown, sun up, sundown, you're dead.
So people who know me know this, but our audience at home probably doesn't know this. I actually don't plan on living past 40.
Why?
Because that just sounds awful.
Actually, 40's been awesome, dude.
No,
I'm
it's
turning
not.
45 this year.
You say that, and then you come crawling in here just tired.
Because I got kids, dude.
Because it's not just the kids, though. How many? It's like 8 goats. Is it 8?
Dude, no. Look. The animals are a joke. They're easy.
Like
you feed them in the morning, you let them out. You feed them in the evening, you let them back in. It doesn't matter.
3 kangaroos, 2 donkeys.
I want kangaroos. Actually, I want wallabies. If I could have wallabies, man, let me tell you something. That'd be something.
Forget I said anything.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. They're hopping around, carrying a Joey in a pouch.
It was a mistake for me to have even made the joke because it's not a joke.
You know what my wife wants?
What?
She wants reindeer. She wants reindeer.
I don't know. I mean, I could see where that would obviously, like, that's going to make the Osborne
See, that way we got
farm,
something to do in the holidays. You know what I mean?
It's going to make the farm more attractive. But I've heard that reindeer are just big, nasty, just monstrous.
Nope. They're small, simple, very quiet animals that don't really do much except for grow antlers and get really hot in the summer. Yeah, which just kind of sucks if you're in Tennessee because we have summers that are just awful and we have winters that are also awful. Everything's pretty much awful.
What's wrong with you?
This time it's my turn to be Mr. Negativity. Okay?
I know. Well, we talked about this already. That if I'm the voice of optimism and reassurance in this network, that is bad freaking news for
That's
Little
an
L.
omen, man. An omen.
Because we're a proud product of Little L Productions, along with such other fine programs as Godarchy with Mike Meharry, Sports Ball with Mike and Alan, yours truly, Postcards from Somalia with Sherry Voluntary and myself, as well as the Sherry Voluntary Show. And all of those people are generally more positive and less cynical than me. And all of those people recently have been texting me throughout the week saying, this sucks. I don't want to do whatever. The weather's shit. And I'm like, whoa, quit stealing my thunder.
It's
that's my job.
Seriously.
But we're gonna spend the last little bit of our episode sharing some thoughts about the holiday, but we can't do that yet.
Sure.
Our holiday special was interrupted because of the big news that came out as of this recording, just I guess a day ago.
Yeah.
That President Trump had announced a withdrawal or the planned withdrawal of troops from Syria, and then not even a few hours after that news broke in the cycle, then there's the sources that are saying, well, there might also be a withdrawal from Afghanistan, and then maybe it's not a full withdrawal, maybe it's a partial withdrawal, maybe it'll be in preparation of a full withdrawal sometime shortly down the road, and then Secretary of Defense resigns. Mad Dog Mattis, who's just a piece of shit. I don't want to get too much into the particulars because I know there's already programs out there done that. I actually just listened to Scott Horton was on the Tom Woods show, and they talked in great length about specifically Syria because I think they had actually taped that before the Afghanistan news and stuff had even broken.
Wow.
Because it's evolved. It was sort of sudden, and then it kind of really took off. A few just kind of like little parting shots or notes that I have about it is that, number one, it is astonishing to me the amount of like hardcore left-wing celebrities that are like retweeting disastrous neocons like Lindsey Graham. Like they're in the same camp.
Yeah.
Meharry had texted me earlier, said they're just peas in a pod, and that you're supposed to be led to believe that these are like warring tribes. Like you have this far left wing that has their ideology, and then you have like the neocons or pseudo conservatives that have their ideology, and they're at war with each other.
Yeah.
But then when it comes to a topic that, to me, like, this is a done deal. We talked about this just last week. Staunchly anti-war. If you're not anti-war, this is not the program for you.
Right.
And to see these hardcore leftists, like I know Tom Woods had talked about Mia Farrow and how, she was like a hipster, hippie flower child type back in the day, and she's over here talking about how we can't with, people like Bette Midler. Like Bette Midler had a tweet that was roughly the same contextual information as a tweet from Ben Shapiro. You're led to believe that these are totally opposite people with totally different philosophical beliefs. But when it comes to war of all things, war of all things, if there's one thing that we should be able to all agree on, it's war. In that war is bad and we should not be involved. Yeah. And yet, this is the topic that the left and the neocons and all these different ideologies are coming together on in agreement that, well, we can't just up and leave, because that's signaling a victory to Russia and Iran and signaling weakness and isolationism. I saw a tweet right before we went on. I saw a tweet from Hillary Clinton, which, God, like, how is she alive? But I saw a tweet from Hillary Clinton, and she actually used the I word. She said isolationism. Because, of course, if you're not in Syria murdering people, you're an isolationist. There's no in between. No. There's no such thing as non-interventionism to them. Yeah. But I mean that it's not even in their repertoire. Like they can't imagine a scenario where if you're not pro regime change in Syria, if you're not pro regime change in Iran, Saudi Arabia has been our much maligned ally of late, and they shouldn't be our ally, but goodness knows if they ever stop being considered one, they'll want regime change in Saudi Arabia as well. We're supporting Saudi Arabia's devastating war in Yemen that's caused untold suffering and starvation. These people are of a like mind. These supposedly different groups are of a like mind that if you don't support all of those things, you're an isolationist. That's just...
So what's wrong with being an isolationist?
Well, what they would
say
is that in the strict definition of isolationism, that you just have no outside, because we, as the old Jefferson quote, that alliances with all nations, trade with all nations, alliances with none. Theoretically, an isolationist wouldn't be open diplomatically or in any way with another country.
Even trade?
I want the free market to work. I want people to be able to move freely across borders. I want human beings to have the natural right to travel from one place to the next. I want people to be able to trade with one another.
Gotcha.
I want commerce to take place.
So what you're saying is an isolationist means a country that is absolutely isolated from all other nations, like North Korea was.
Well, yeah. But the point being is that they're wrong, because they're using, because it's just a scare word. It's the same thing as them calling everybody they don't like a racist or calling everyone a Nazi. It doesn't mean anything. It's just a scare word. It's, you don't agree with me, so you're literally a Nazi. There's no in between. So if you don't believe in regime change in Syria, you're literally an isolationist. There's no in between. Of course, as we would believe, we would believe in the principle of non-interventionist foreign policy, meaning that. I mean, that doesn't mean no foreign policy.
Right.
That doesn't mean that you don't have diplomats, that you don't keep the lines of communication open with people around the world. It doesn't mean that you don't endeavor to have free trade to allow companies to exchange goods and services with one another. That all makes perfect sense, because in scenarios like that where everyone is benefiting because, you know, if you've got apples and I got oranges and we want to swap seeds, then it's a win-win. There's no losers there. It's a win-win. That can only make the world more peaceful.
Exactly.
But this concept of intervention is that your state apparatus gets involved intimately with the internal politics and affairs of another country.
Right.
Now that is a hard no.
Yeah.
You don't do that because it's not in our interest.
Yeah.
Now they would argue the opposite. They would argue that, well, it's in our interest because, don't you know, Alan, there's terrorism and these people are evil and they want to hurt us. So we have to be there. I mean, what are all the cliches you've heard, right? Like you've heard, we have to fight them there so we don't fight them here. Or like with Hillary Clinton with the isolationist thing, saying that, well, it signals weakness. It signals weakness. The most powerful country that's ever existed on the face of the earth with enough nuclear weapons to end the world 100 times over is somehow concerned with people thinking they're weak. That's the stupidest crock of shit I've ever heard in my life.
We must be the most, then this country must be the most insecure country on the planet.
It's funny. It's funny that you mentioned that. It's funny that you mentioned that because
strike the we part, but yes.
Well, hold on, because there's a lot of people out there, a lot of people who criticize Trump, and I criticize Trump because he's an idiot. But I'm not going to criticize him for getting us out of foreign entanglements in the Middle East.
That's a good thing.
We're and for just real quick, I don't think for a second that he's made this decision because he all of a sudden has grown empathy and has decided that he thinks fondly of the Syrians or the Afghans or the Yemenis or whatever.
Else is going on, we'll never know.
It's a political decision, but it's still the right decision, so I applaud it.
Yeah, okay.
But with that said, going back to what we were talking in the beginning, is that I shouldn't be surprised anymore when you see these different camps coming together. You see a lot of people call it TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. Yeah. That because Trump has got people so hot and bothered, it's just the natural reaction to #resist anything he does. Yeah. And so that puts you in a very compromising position if you have no principles and you just are automatically against anything he says, then theoretically, if he says, I want to make sure we don't kill Mexicans, then they'll have no choice but to say, well, we must eradicate all Mexicans because if Trump is for that, I must be against it. Now that's a ridiculous analogy.
Pushing the envelope, but yeah.
But the point being is that their boy Obama, Mr. Nobel Peace Prize, who is responsible for the escalation in Iraq, is responsible for, creating an environment. I told you right before the show. I wouldn't necessarily say that Obama made ISIS, but he created an environment where a group like ISIS could thrive, and they did. Of course, we're helping ISIS in Syria, but that's neither here nor there, right? But the point being is that I actually heard Scott Horton say this, and it made a lot of sense to me. I believe it was Scott that said this, that when their man was in office, they had to justify it to themselves. Like they had to swallow it that he's pro-war. Yeah. That he's pro-drone strike, that he's pro-intervention in Iraq and Afghanistan and Syria and Yemen and Libya, because Libya was his. And so now that leaves no one to be the staunchly 100% no matter what anti-war. The left is not anti-war. The left was pro-Obama and Obama was pro-war, so the left is not anti-war. Right. So then it's, by that logic, then it's not such a surprise us sitting here today when Trump, who's not a conservative, but he has an R next to his name when he got elected, for a Republican president in Trump to say, hey, let's end the wars. And then for the left, the supposed party of the hippies and the peaceniks, to stand up and say, "Oh no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
That would signal weakness. You're in the pocket of Putin." Like it's just never going to end with these people, this Russian Putin nonsense. Like at this, and again, like to be totally fair, and I know someone will say I'm a Russian bot for saying this, is that if what Putin wanted most in this world when he woke up this morning was for Americans to not be supporting bloodshed in Syria, then okay, that's fine. Yeah. I don't even care, because I want the wars to end. I want our troops to come home. And that's a funny thing too, by the way, because I've been very anti-troop, anti-military in a lot of the things that I've said and written.
Right.
And I'm not backing away from that for a second. All I'm saying is that I'm just pointing out kind of the Ron Paul approach, which is, if talking to the hoorah Marines, back the blue, support my troops, all those types of people, yellow ribbons and all that. If you people really supported the troops as much as you say you do, then you would applaud anything that meant that those boys come home.
That's right.
And the fact that you see WAPO and CNN and the Lindsey Grahams and the Ben Midlers and the Mia Farrows of the world tweeting that, oh, no, I saw another one. There was Joe Biden. Joe Biden was saying that, well, because they're afraid that Afghanistan's next. Afghanistan, the 17-year epic fail in the graveyard of empires in Afghanistan, and we took our turn. We failed spectacularly. It's time for it to be over.
Yeah.
Joe Biden had tweeted something along the lines of, if we leave Afghanistan, then we're sentencing millions of women back to the Stone Age, because the elements that are going to take over once the Americans leave are going to revert any possible positives that have come out of the last several years or what have you. Well, I actually wrote a paper recently, specifically. I haven't debuted it yet, so we're not going to go there too much. But that, for one, there's not as much positive to show as those folks would like to think there is.
Yeah.
But even if you believe there is, why is it that you think that the U.S. military's job is to enforce your Western idea of feminism around the world and send little Johnny and Jimmy to go die in a desert against fighting every single person who doesn't believe in your worldview?
Yep.
Here's the thing about that. Even if that's what you believe, because there's people who do, that do genuinely believe, well, we're on the side of right. I've decided that I am morally superior. We're on the side of right. Therefore, we must fight for it's like the Navy commercial, a global force for good. Yeah. They genuinely believe our military is a global force for good, and so they're fighting for rights of all people around the world. Now, I'm not going to get into the million reasons why that's just hypocritical bullshit. Chiefly among them, so you want to fight for women's rights in Afghanistan, but if them damn border crossers down there at the southern border take one step too far, I'm just going to shoot them in the head. You people make me fucking sick. But anyway, if you think that our quote-unquote global force for good military, that's their job, this is what's going to happen. It will never end.
No.
There will always be people on this planet who don't subscribe to your ideology.
Of course.
Guess what? It's called the West because it's referring to Western civilization, Western principles, that sort of thing. There's also other parts of the world that aren't the West. Yeah. And it's logical to expect that other people in the world with literally centuries, nay, millennia of culture and philosophy and whatever may not 100% agree with everything you think.
Right. They might have a few different ideas.
Now, look, I believe in individual rights. I don't believe in women's rights. I believe in individual rights. I believe in natural rights in the right of the individual, and that encompasses everyone. Yeah, I do, but I don't believe in robbing the taxpayer and arming our sons and daughters to go fight and die around the world for literally the rest of human existence, or until we're out of blood and treasure, which is what is more likely to happen, until the empire collapses. fighting that fight there is no victory. Afghanistan is the microcosm of it, is that you can unless you're planning on just systematically wiping out all human life in that region, you will never convince everyone living within the borders of that state right now that Western civilization is what we should adopt. We're all on board. Everyone agrees. Okay, let's make a coalition. Let's rebuild the government.
Right.
That's never going to happen.
No.
It's never going to happen.
No.
It's never going to happen.
It's never going to happen.
It's never. Did I say that?
Yeah, you did.
It's never going to happen. And so, since it's never going to happen, as Milton Friedman would say, Nirvana is not meant for this world.
No.
Any person, any of our sons and daughters, brothers, sisters, any of them that we send to go die fighting in a war that we know cannot be won is an abomination.
That absolutely is.
So that's, in case, for those who haven't tuned out yet, that's what pro-troops sounds like.
It's harsh. I mean, for my whole take on the thing is, I used to be like that. I used to be all gung-ho. I used to be, go get him, go kill him, yeah. I used to
you thought we were doing the right thing.
Yeah, because I thought that, that those people's ideology is evil and bad, and it's coming to destroy my way of life. So I needed my military to go over there and destroy them in their land so that they wouldn't affect what I got going on here. It's probably one of the most selfish and evil things I could possibly imagine. That philosophy is absolutely ridiculous.
That is what a great many.
Yeah,
but it's what a lot of people think. But to be fair, and I'm not condoning it because you're an idiot if you think that.
Yeah.
But that's what they've been taught.
Yeah.
I mean, your press and your government officials, the Lindsey Graham, the John McCains, the George H.W. Bushes of the world. That's what those people have wrought. That is the philosophy they believe in.
But it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense because let me tell you something. If I had a family member whom I loved, who I lost overseas in one of these battles, in one of these wars that ultimately will result in nothing, I will feel pretty badly robbed of someone who I loved and cared about for a pointless endeavor.
It is
it's very egregious.
It's a very hard pill for people to swallow. Now, now you're a dad, but your kids are very young, so they're not actually fighting in the war.
No. They're fighting their own war at home.
Yeah, they're fighting a war. It's just
not that one.
It's a civil war.
Yeah.
It's an insurrection, really.
Yes, it is.
But it's a hard pill for a parent to swallow to think, my child died for nothing. That's very hard.
My kids aren't going in the military.
That doesn't make it not true.
No.
But I understand that's very hard for people to come to terms with. And they may try to explain their way out of it. They might think that, well, they believed it. That makes it worse to me.
Yeah.
That doesn't make it better.
It doesn't make you a hero.
There's a bit that Louis C.K. did in one of his stand-ups where he's trying. Of course, he's making a joke about the military, but he's also trying to get some sympathy, applause from the crowd. You know how it is. He says something nice about the troops, gives some applause, and he makes the joke. Well, they're going over there to defend America. They think.
Defend what?
Well, hold on. He makes the joke. They think, and then everybody goes, ooh, like, oh, they think that, but it's not true. But so the joke he's making is that they're not really defending our American. Yeah. They're not defending our way of life or our liberties. But they think that. But then he turns right around and kind of shits on his own joke by saying, but it's good that they think that because look how brave they are. No, that's not good. We need to quit as a society. We have to stop supporting this idea that, well, that may be wrong. I may disagree with you, but I applaud your service or your bravery. No, that's horseshit. It reminds me of, I'm a big MMA fan. We talked about this actually just recently on a sports ball that I think it was, what was it? Was it the featherweight? I think it was featherweight. Was Max Holloway and Brian Ortega. And it ended up getting stopped after the end of the fourth round because Brian Ortega was just getting worked. Max Holloway, who was the defending champ, is just a god tier striker, and Brian Ortega just had nothing for him. I mean, he's just getting
destroyed.
Worked. He's getting bodied, and so Brian Ortega's a tough guy. No one can take that away from him. Nope. It ended up being a doctor's stoppage in between the rounds. He never went down. He didn't get knocked out. The doctor called the fight. And a lot of people were criticizing his corner, saying that if the doctor needed to call the fight, his corner people should have thrown in the towel. But we live in a society where a lot of people in the fight world, just like our militaristic society, believe that if you're seen as throwing in the towel, that's weakness. Oh, just knocking on my microphone. That's weakness. That's Hillary Clinton saying, "Oh, you're signaling a victory to our enemies." That's isolationism. No. This in the same thing about the warrior mentality and something like MMA. That's got to go away. I understand that in a lot of ways that motivates a lot of those guys to great heights, but it also motivates guys to get killed. It motivates those guys to have such serious mental and physical injuries that they never come back the same fighter that they were before that fight, because their corner wouldn't throw in the towel, because they couldn't just acknowledge that, we lost this fight, but we're not going to sit here and watch our guy get killed. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm happy that my neighbor's son, he's shipping off to boot camp, he's going to go to the war. I'm not going to sit here and applaud that. I'm not going to say, well, I wouldn't do that, but you know what? Good for him for making that decision. No! Stop doing that. Stop applauding it. You need to be telling, it's something I know Sharon and I have talked about before too. It's that, you know the old country song, "Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys." I want to write an article or a little skit or something called "Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be soldiers." Because and you tell, because you're a father, so you tell me this: good war or not, I'm not even going to go there. Do you want your children in a war? No.
Who the hell does?
Who would want that?
Nobody.
But here's the sick thing, though. There are a lot of people out there who genuinely think that one of the greatest things that can happen is their son or daughter go into the military and serve. No. It's time for us to shed that. Until we do, unfortunately, look, there's always going to be defense contractors that want money. And until we abolish the state, ladies and gentlemen, as long as democracy is around, there's still going to be politicians spending the money and shaking the hands to get elected, to turn around and get the money to those defense contractors. It's called the military-industrial complex. I can't topple the military-industrial complex by myself, and I can't do it today. But I'll tell you what I damn well will do is I'm not going to tell any young boy coming up, "Hey, you should join the Army." No. I will never say that.
No, you're right.
I had read recently that they were really struggling with their recruiting numbers. That numbers are down for like the Army. Good. That's what we need. We desperately need way more young people saying, "GI Bill." You keep that, because I'm not actually going to be a part of what you're doing. That's what's most important to me.
It's a different story if somebody's coming at us.
But
we'll say it's a different story.
When's anybody coming?
But nobody can.
No
one can. It's ridiculous. There are more guns in this country than people.
It reminds me, like, I don't want to be like one of these guys that's like, hoorah, Ron Paul, I love Ron Paul. I don't want to be accused of hero worship, although Ron Paul is one of my heroes. But he had a really awesome quote. I think he said it on the House floor, that you have these people who just are just shaking. They're just frittering day and night about countries in the Middle East that have no formal Army, Navy, or Air Force, like they're going to hurt us. No.
They're not going to hurt us.
No, they're not. No one on this planet is going to go to a traditional open warfare combat with the United States of America. And so
it's ridiculous.
I'd even actually heard it recently that somebody was saying, not only do I think that we should significantly draw back the size and scope of the military, I'm not convinced we even need to have a standing army. I think we need to go back to the days of the founders of the country where, outside of if the states want to have militias, they can. But we live in a world of mutually assured destruction. We live in a world of nuclear weapons. We've got nuclear subs all over the seas, and we've got missile sites. We've got missiles, maybe. We've got missile sites all over the place, ready to light this world on fire. By that logic, the only reason you would need an armed force, the boots on the ground, the only reason you would need that is because you're sticking them somewhere they don't belong.
Right. That's the truth about the whole thing, is that, I feel like the military is more about it just enforces Americans' will, the American government's will upon other countries, and I mean, really? I mean, why?
I think that's a good place for us to stop that and have a few moments of
Good.
holiday talk.
Yeah, let's end this discussion.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not in the military. You're not in the military. I'm going to discourage my kids from going in. I don't think there's a need. There's a need. There's no need. So anyway,
now that we got that out of the way.
now we put a happy face on it.
You know what's crazy?
What's crazy?
Is of course, I hate to always like break the fourth wall, but this isn't actually like when you're watching this on YouTube, we're not actually sitting here right now.
No,
talking
this isn't
to you.
live.
Yeah.
It's live. What we're doing is live.
Yeah.
Because we were not making takes and then redoing it and that sort of thing.
For the show that we're doing next month, we probably will we'll call it something special. We'll say it's like live. The gold standard with Alan Mosley live, but it still technically won't.
It's still technically not.
It'll be live for some people.
Yes, live for some.
Technically, every show is live.
If you're in this room, it will be live.
if any person was there when it happened, and that's what constitutes as live, then technically every show is live because you've been here.
Yeah.
So that means it was live for someone every time.
That's right.
So by that token, this is a live show.
Very live. Very live.
But because we do record them and edit them, by we, of course, I mean you.
Yes.
We're talking about news of like Syria pullout, possible Afghanistan, and it happens so fast and suddenly that this episode may come out on like the 27th or 8th, and by then World War III always started.
Sure.
And this
will this won't matter anyway.
Silly.
So
it won't.
It's all speculation.
That's a joke, but I'm just saying. Hopefully, there's more good news. Hopefully Hopefully, you have to put a little thing at the bottom.
Disclaimer.
Footnote or edit 12/28/18.
Yeah,
we also left Iraq.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope we do.
Wow.
I hope
that
that's what happens.
That would be great.
So with that said, we're going to turn our attention to some holiday stuff.
Yeah.
Now, I had already made a post on social media that next week, or I guess technically this weekend, because I want it to come out at the beginning of next week, I'm going to write a little post. It's going to be kind of a note to the community and our fans, friends, and family and well-wishers. I don't want it to be a long, sappy like God blesses everyone, because if you know me, that's not it's not really my style. But I do want to thank all the just awesome people who have allowed me and encouraged us to get better every week, do a really high quality show. I can't tell you enough, Blake, how many people, nobody ever compliments me. No, that literally has never happened.
I do.
People message us all the time and say, wow, you guys produce a really quality program.
Content,
Yeah, like it's no. The content sucks. The host is really stupid. He's just some angry guy, and his hair keeps getting longer. It's really weird.
It's weird. Yeah.
But no, but everybody says, like the quality of the show y'all do is out of this world, and I tell them that's because, guys, I was going to do this show I was going to use like a can and some string. And I was going to shove that into a USB port, and I was going to do
it that way, though. Man,
yeah,
it's
But I actually do it in a studio here in Columbia, Tennessee.
It's just me trying to show that I can. I don't know.
But you used to. But I tell people, like when people write me, like when prospective guests are in talks to make an appearance on the show, and they say, "So what can I expect? Or are you guys going to do A, B, C, D, whatever?" As I tell them, well, our producer actually has many years' experience, like in corporate television.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not exaggerating.
No, you're not.
No.
You're not.
So, if you're wondering why this show is the gold standard of libertarian podcasts, it's because we have the gold standard of producers of libertarian podcasts. No, we really do.
Libertarian podcasts.
No, we really do.
Frame it that way.
Yeah. No, we really do. We're not taking on Joe Rogan experience quite just yet, but we're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
And I'm going to leave most of this to that note that I'm going to write, because I'm going to tag everybody and all that stuff. But, think of some of the awesome guests we've had.
It's been a good year.
Scott Horton has been on multiple times.
Yep.
Jeffrey Tucker. Pete Raymond, also known as Matt Serraner. I don't even know if you saw that he revealed his real name. It's Pete Raymond, which is 2 first names, which is pretty gay. But Pete Raymond. Pete Raymond. No, I still call him Mance, and I think he's fine with that.
That's rough, man.
So I still call him
Mance Serraner just sounds badass.
Well, I mean, it's a fictional character from a book, so it's supposed to sound cool.
It still sounds like he can smash your face, you know.
But I think he's fine with people still calling him Mance. So I still call him. He's been on multiple times. Of course, my good friend Mike Meharry, when we're thinking of like what did 2018 bring us, and I'll answer this question and then I'll turn it over to you. Actually, you know what? We're gonna make you go first.
Why? What did 2018 bring me?
Hold on. Hold on.
Okay.
There's 2 questions. I'm gonna go ahead and ask them so you can be ready.
Yeah.
So you can be
I'll
prepared.
try.
I mean, you're gonna go first. So what did 2018 bring you that you're thankful for, and then what are you looking forward to in 2019?
What did 2018 bring me? 2018 brought me a lot of wonderful animals, a lot more love from my wife and my kids. And actually a lot of personal growth. I was able to do a lot of things I didn't know I could do. You know, and when you decide to make a life change that's pretty significant like that, and you find yourself having to build things. Like I'm a fairly talented guy, not just in this, but when I build a lot of things. So I built a donkey barn. I've never built a donkey barn before. How do you build a donkey barn? You can't buy one of those.
Did you do it like the Amish, where you just kind of threw the walls together in like 45 minutes?
Basically, yeah, man. And stood them up and nailed it together and screwed it all together. I mean, I don't know if it's going to last very long.
I've seen the pictures.
It's nice,
I've seen the documentation.
The donkeys, they use it. They poop in there, and I have to clean the poop. It's great.
So it's great.
In the barn, the pens and the paddocks, and the biggest thing for me was the gates. I mean, we have a lot of gates that perform, that create locks and allow you to move the animals to different pastures. I built all that. And I'm amazed at myself that I honestly physically built that. We did great this show. We built this up quite a bit. We did a lot of good records this year, a few good records. A lot of wonderful weddings. We did a lot of wonderful weddings this year. A lot of good videos and just had a great year. Next year is going to be even better because next year all these animals that we've gotten together, a lot of them are pregnant. We're going to have baby alpacas, baby donkeys, baby goats. Lots of that to sell, a few of them to keep. Milk, gosh, I don't even know what I'm going to do with all the goat milk I'm going to have. Maybe I'll fill a pool with it.
Does goat milk taste like milk?
Goat milk tastes like goat milk. It's different. It's good, but it's different. It makes amazing cheese.
I have had goat cheese, and it tastes like cheese.
Goat cheese tastes like cheese, but it's got a little bit of that flavor in it that almost kind of tastes a little sour, kind of sour creamish. Do you know what I mean? If you haven't had goat cheese, try it. It's not for everybody, but for the people who love it, they absolutely love it. And of course, just like anything else, there's grades. There's good, better, and best. But, just to be able to take that and have something natural that's produced and be able to do something with that I've never done anything like that before is exciting. So I'm really looking forward to being able to do that, and we're going to have a great time. So we just bred our 7th goat out of our 10 girls. We got 3 more to breed, hopefully before the breeding season is over, and Lord bless us, man. Hopefully I have 2 or 3 babies from each one of these girls, and, that'll do us good. Help us at least pay for feeding them.
I think I should have gone first because I don't have that much stuff.
No. You do have a lot though.
I don't actually have that many things, so I think I probably should have went first.
I warned you.
I wanted to go second so that I could be the best, and now it's
top
ruined.
That, kid.
No, I'm not, because I'm not having kids, so I'm not going to top it.
Yet.
So we're not going to do any of that.
Okay.
No, I have cats. I've
got cats too. They're not kids.
That's enough for me.
How do you? I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
Okay. How many cats do you have?
Well, technically, right now I just have the one.
I have one cat.
There was one.
Well, how can you technically have one cat?
Well, because there's other cats.
There's other cats.
There's only one that's my cat that goes with.
Who do the other cats belong to?
Well, Anna Kay has a cat.
Okay, so she's got a cat. She's got 2 cats.
Anna Kay has a cat.
Okay.
Sebastian. Who's just about the size of this table right here.
Good Lord. You sure that's a cat?
He's a big boy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but cats are enough for me. I don't need goats and donkeys and wallabies.
How do you manage the cat poop?
How well?
No, how do you do it? Do you have 1 litter box, 2 litter boxes?
There's 1 litter box.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just 1?
Yeah.
How often do you clean it?
Every day.
Every day?
Yeah.
Your life's terrible.
I could have told you. You
Now,
didn't have to
listen.
build me up for
Now,
that. I
listen.
know that.
Let me tell you a trick.
Okay.
Let me a trick. This is something I did. People are going to get on to me about this. I don't care. You can get on me all you want.
Okay.
Okay. I have discovered the secret to not having to clean a litter box every day.
What's that?
I've got a tub this big. It's probably 20 gallons. It's a huge bin. A bin. Okay?
I already reject this.
Listen.
Because it's going to smell.
This bin has literally 4 of those, you know, like the big cat litter box, like they come in a bucket.
Yeah.
It has 4 of those buckets poured into it. Mm-hmm. My 2 cats, as hard as they want, maybe get that thing full every 2 weeks. So I clean my cat box every 2 weeks, and I don't have any problems.
This is really taking a weird turn.
It's genius.
So
I'm just saying you should try it. These little litter boxes that they sell at the store, they're designed to make you buy litter forever and ever and ever and have to fill it up every single day. No, just get a great big freaking sandbox. Fill it up, make it so massive that cat would take a year to fill it.
Okay, so
It's called attrition.
So what I'm thankful for 2018. Thanks for asking, Blake. What I'm thankful for is I'm thankful for all the awesome people who have come on the show because you know we had always wanted to have guests, but we wanted to kind of iron out the kinks first. So we had like a couple of months worth of episodes
And it got
before.
kinky.
Wow. But I can't even talk to you. Go back to the producers. Go back to the producers table over
I'm being
there.
banished.
Yeah, but we started off. Of course, the Clarks came here, Sherry and Mike, and the whole and Mike Clark has also been a guest on the show more recently, alone, and then it just took off from there. I mean, we had Mance, Tucker, Scott Horton. Stephen Rose from a Narco Christian podcast, who we're going to have on after the first of the new year again.
Good.
A very specific topic that we're going to be discussing with him. I think it's going to be really good.
Good.
Of course, we've had Mike Meharry and Michael Bolden of the 10th Amendment Center. Of course, Tom Woods, the Tom Woods, has been on the show. In our first, he was the end of our season 1. The end of season 1 was Tom Woods. Beginning of season 2 was Michael Bolden. Of course, we've had Kevin Gutzman. Kevin Gutzman, amazing historian, was fantastic interview. I could talk about that stuff all day.
Yeah.
I know I'm forgetting people. It's really Connor Boyack, who's with the Libertas Institute in Utah, as well as the Total Twin series, the author. Oh God, I'm going to feel so. I'm going to feel so bad.
They know who they are. They know. It was just a lot of great guests, and
Bob Murphy.
Bob Murphy.
Bob Murphy has been on the show. That'd been really bad. It's just bound to happen that I'm forgetting multiple people, and those people will never come back now.
Oh, they'll come back.
But
They're
the
ones that help make the show great.
But yeah, exactly. They've helped to make the show awesome.
Yep.
And what I've endeavored to do is I've tried to have conversations with people here that are not just what you would hear everywhere.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to just. I don't want to be in just one thing. I don't want it to be purely an academic program where all we do is sit around with our monocles and discuss the finer points of foreign policy or what have you. But vice versa, or economics. But vice versa, I also don't want it like this isn't Howard Stern.
Yeah.
It's not a joke. So I want us to have fun while talking about serious issues with very influential people, people who have affected me. There's so many on the way that we've reached out to that we're scheduling for next year, and I'm not actually going to say any of them. And the reason why I'm not is simply because every single time that we have done a show where I advertised on the program such and such will be next week, it just went to shit.
Yeah.
You
never do that, by the way. That's just kind of a rule in
like just scheduling conflict. Whatever.
Yeah.
And so I'm learning. I'm learning as a host that, like, so when you see the Tonight Show and they advertise who's on that week, and
they've
you
already
think
been on.
They've already been on.
See,
that's the difference, because they filmed like 5 shows on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So they know they're going to be there because they were already there. It ain't as live
as you think it is.
Exactly. So I'm learning there, but we definitely want to expand what we do and the kind of heights that we shoot for.
Yep.
And so what does 2019 bring?
Yeah.
There's lots of, it's like, this is actually going to scare you, because there's all sorts of things I want to shoot for and strive for in 2019. And now Blake is thinking, we can't do that.
What's he doing?
I definitely want to play around with potentially live streaming the show. Believe it or not, we've had people that have said, I really want to catch your show when it's live. When is it? And then I haven't had the heart to write them back and say, well, unless you're coming down to Columbia, that's not really an option.
Live streaming's not that challenging.
But even if we just have
all it comes down to is a good internet connection and a cable.
Even if we're just going to live stream it on Facebook with a phone, we could do it.
Yeah.
I mean, really the main reason why we haven't live streamed is just because I don't want you to miss everything.
Yeah.
Because because we've got the laptop, we're looking at articles, we're streaming in interviews, we're doing lots of stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't want you to miss anything. But I'm starting to realize that a lot of people they don't care. They just want the noise. They don't care. Just whatever you do it. So we'll play around with that. We're definitely going to have I endeavor to have a more entertaining program in 2019.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is funny, because this episode before the holiday part was a very serious episode. But I don't want to have so many serious episodes, because I feel like the way that I can be a great host and have on fun people is to not get burnt out and melancholy about the worries of the world. And a quick way to do that is to have nothing but serious episodes all the time.
I know.
So we're going to try to avoid doing that.
Yeah, we'll try to be a little more fun, more happy.
And
wear silly hats. Silly hat?
And then other than that, I don't want to get into our big news that's going to be just next month that we're going to be endeavoring on. Right. But get ready for some really big announcements from us and from our parent network, which is Little L Productions. We're going to be putting together some pretty bold projects that I really hope that people enjoy, that people like and share, and then people give us money. That's
because for God's sake.
Because for God's sake, Blake's got like so 4 kids, like 8 goats,
10, 14. It's actually it's 14 goats, man. 14 goats. 8 alpacas.
This is how much donkeys. Worse the situation has gotten even since I last checked in.
You know about Coco the bonus goat?
What? First of all, I'm concerned about where this is going.
Coco the bonus goat, man. When
a pig.
No, we do have a pig. Yes, we have a pig. When we went to pick up our alpacas from the gentleman who we bought them from, I was to load them in the trailer. This little goat jumps in. I mean, the little goat jumps in there. It's cute, little I don't know, little Nigerian mix thing here hops in there. And
he's talking about a goat, by the way. We're not racist.
And my wife, and the man looks at my wife and says, "Do you mind?" And she's like, "Mind what?" He's like, "Mind." He goes with you? She goes with you? I'm like, she's like, looks at me and I'm like, well, I guess, why not? Look at me, why? Why does the goat go with the alpacas? Well, that goat was born around the alpacas. It grew up with the alpacas and it, thinks it's an alpaca. So the goat was a bonus towards our purchase of the alpacas. So it's known as Coco the bonus goat.
I think it's time to end this.
You said you wanted a more fun, entertaining show.
Well, I have more fun when I know what's going to happen next. I'm not a spot.
You don't like me surprising you with Coco the bonus goat.
No.
Coco rules, by the way.
That's great. I'm just saying. So the point I'm making for people at home that's just all the more reason why we would appreciate any contributions from the audience to what we do. There actually is a donate button on the goldstandardpodcast.com where you can just go in there. You click on the button. It'll pull up PayPal. You put in your card information and then you put 100000000, and then you hit enter.
I know how to do that.
And then you're done. That's it. It's just that. Just do it. It's just that easy. You can't mess it up. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in for what I guess this will ultimately be the last gold standard.
Of 2018.
Of 2018, yeah. No, it's just the last goals.
Yeah.
Of 2018.
Of 2018.
You can follow us on social media, which is facebook.com/TGS Alan Mosley. It's Twitter. I don't know why I'm doing it like it's mysterious all of a sudden. It's doing it. His Twitter is at Alan M. Mosley. But you don't have to do any of that. Do you know why you don't have to do any of that?
And why is that, Alan?
Because you can just go to our website, which is thegoldstandardpodcast.com.
That's right.
So, as your host, Alan Mosley, for Blake Osborne, we will see you next year.
Next year.